You're listening to Change Your POV Podcast, episode 136.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, you know what I mean? And but not just in a military sense. I'm saying that was real, like, civilian, life, like business owning, scary shit. But now you can look back on it and go, what a learning experience. But holy hell. And we laugh, but I know that at that time you were shitting your pants.
Change Your POV is a blog and podcast by veterans for veterans. With just over a year of podcasting and 136 episodes, it was damn difficult to narrow down our favorite 6 episodes. 2016 was an incredible mashup of topics, guest interviews, and shared experiences. We hope you enjoy our recount of our top 6 episodes of 2016. Here we go. Hello, folks, and welcome to Change Your POV Podcast. I am your host, Eddie Lazary.
And I'm Bennett Tanton.
And today we are going to talk about, this is our year-end episode, where we're going to be talking about a look back on Change Your POV Podcast 2016. So out of 139 episodes, we decided I would pick 3 of my the top 3 episodes that I just really enjoyed, and Bennett was going to pick his top 3 to give you our top 6. Now, and again, this is
small freaking order.
It was hard. This was hard to do because we had so many really. Because it's like I have some that are like I had some that I had favorite guests. And then there were some that I had favorite topics, and there was other ones that were just my favorite ones to listen to. So It was the criteria for picking out the top 3 was, anything, whatever you wanted to be. So it was tough. And again, this isn't mean anything for any of our other shows. It's just we wanted to kind of, talk about the 3 that are the most memorable for us this year. And let's just alternate again, huh?
Yep.
All right, so in no particular order, folks, one of my top 3, well, I think the number one, the one that we've referenced the most ever is probably episode 28. Wouldn't you agree?
I would thoroughly agree.
Because we've mentioned episode 28 on...
I laugh right now just thinking
I do too. And anytime somebody says, anybody that's new to the show says, hey, do you have a show that you recommend? There's 2 of the 3 that I've picked. 2 of the 3 or 2 that I always recommend people listen to first. It's just kind of a way to introduce the show. So the first one's probably hands down episode 28. And what's crazy about it is when we first started recording that night, it was about, the whole idea of our show is we pick a topic and then we, talk about it. And it ended up going down a road I didn't expect it to, which is, I think, what made it such a good episode.
Right. But
the title of the show is Understanding the Business Part of Business, and it ended up being a 2-parter, so episode 28 and 29. So once you listen to 28, you can listen to 29.
Roll right into 29. You have to listen to both.
Yeah, but the where the comedy is really out of episode 28, and it's where I get into telling you for the first time my experience for because I owned my own business. Once I got out of the Army, I started my own landscaping business, and I wanted to get into, understanding the business part of business is critical because we're big into entrepreneurship and starting your own business, and a lot of veterans, get out of the military and start their own business, and they may be good at, the business side of things or the actual physical labor part of whatever your business is. But when it gets into doing the actual business end of things, like keeping the books and taxes and workers' compensation and estimates and proposals and invoicing and all of that other business stuff that's required to keep a business successful, I struggled with it to the point where the business ended up collapsing. And so I kind of share that story and how that collapsed. But yeah, man, I think it's just, even now, every once in a while, I'll just go back and listen to that show just because I never finished, I've never been able to finish that episode without just laughing my ass off.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's because it's real.
Yeah.
And that's part of what we're trying to do this coming year.
Right.
is get back with that type of thing. Like that was a real episode because it was about your story.
Right.
And
it's
showing that we're human and that we have been there and made mistakes. Horrendously, as funny as they might have been, it probably wasn't very funny then.
Oh no, not
it
even
was
close.
Like, I'm scared that I'm going to lose my house. They're going to arrest me because I'm going to smash the shit out of somebody's house.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, people could die, that kind of thing.
Right.
And been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You know what I mean? And but not just in a military sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that was real, like, civilian, life, like business owning, scary shit. But now you can look back on it and go, what a learning experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But holy hell. And we laugh, but I know that at that time you were shitting your pants.
Oh, hell yes. I don't think I actually laughed about any of that for 6 months afterwards. I mean, literally, it took that long for it to work. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like one of those things. And someday we'll do another business type episode, and I'll tell the story about how I almost got sued by a multinational corporation.
Really?
Because of the name of my company.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We haven't really gone there, have we?
Nope.
But those are the best episodes because shit gets real.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, man. I'm not going to start right now because we don't really have time, but we'll do an episode about that. So just keep that in mind. Coming in 2017, Bennett Tanton almost got his ass sued by a multinational corporation over the name of his company.
Jesus.
Which I've completely earned, by the way. I completely earned the fucking name more than any asshole that owned the rights to it.
Right.
So, but these are lessons in business that we have to learn. So,
yeah, man. And the other thing too is when we look back on number of downloads, right? This is probably I didn't check the numbers before we hopped on, but I think this is one of, or at least in the top 3 of the most downloaded episodes.
Probably. Well, because we send people.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot.
Right. So yeah, check it out, episode 28, and make sure you go to the bathroom before you listen to it. You might wet yourself a little.
You might piss your pants.
Yes. All right, man. What are
my
yours?
First two, I'm actually going to go back to the early days as well. And that's episode 23 and 26. Now, the reason we're doing these is because they're 2-part episodes.
Right.
But it's just an extension of the greater episode. And that was the episode that we did with Tim Parkhurst and from Warrior Hall. And Tim is just a friend of ours. And if you don't know, Warrior Hall is the nonprofit that Tim and I run. And Eddie does a lot of work with us as well. Or is starting to do more work with us. And really good episode. We talk about a lot of stuff. I mean, Tim is a pretty interesting dude. Mm-hmm. He served over 25 years in the Marine Corps. And literally served in like all 4 divisions, was everything from a radio man to infantry to a scout sniper, and then became a parachute rigger and, free fall parachute instructor in the Marine Corps, which there's like 3 of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he was in the special operations side of it most of his career, because those are the only people that jump out of planes in the Marine Corps. But, interesting dude. Now he's working at the Marine Corps high school that's in Texas. Can't remember what it's called. My bad. Sorry, guys.
So he's kind of like an ROTC instructor, basically.
Yeah, basically he's kind of like a drill sergeant now, in essence, and then does Warrior Hall stuff on the side.
Like, I feel like part of me feels really sorry for those high school kids, because he's just like, don't get me wrong, I love Tim and he's a great guy, but intimidating as fuck if you were just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he's just got, like, there's an air, You know what I mean?
Like
I
you
mean, he's
would
not the biggest man.
no, not that kind of like scary, but like he's a guy I would not want to piss off. You know what I
Probably not.
mean?
Yeah.
Like if
No,
I was a high school ROTC cadet or whatever they call them, like my parade rest would make my muscles hurt the next day. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
So those those two episodes are two of my favorites.
Yep.
So what is this called? Oh, there it is. It's in Harlington, Texas, the Marine Military Academy. Literally what it's called.
Oh wow.
And you send your young bucks there to become Marines.
Is it
basically.
an all boys school?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think so. I'm not positive, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it is. But yeah, it just looks pretty cool.
Wow.
And Tim is actually, he was a student there.
Right.
So he is the first, I guess you would call instructor,
Alum of the school. Yeah.
to, I think, be a instructor there as well.
That's cool. Full circle, man.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow. That's cool, man. My second one, and I'm just going to do this in order. My second one is episode 50. Now, 50 has a lot of meaning for me, and that's why it's one of my favorites, is because it was right around the time you had introduced me to that podcast Serial, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I actually started to listen to Serial Season 2 about Bo Bergdahl.
Yeah.
And then after we finished listening to that, then I went back to Season 1 where they talked about this high school kid that was arrested and convicted for the murder of his girlfriend. Incredible
in
podcast.
Baltimore.
Yeah, in Baltimore, Maryland, right?
Great. I mean, that podcast is so good.
It is so good, but it's extremely highly produced. What I mean by that is like each season, like I think there's only like 6 or 7 episodes in the season, and it takes them all year long to produce those 6 or 7 episodes.
Because it's like investigative journalism.
Exactly. And they have like at the end of the credits, they listed like all the names of the people that like, I mean, we're talking like 20, 30 names of people that contributed somehow. So it's like highly, highly produced. But I liked the kind of the way they tell the story. It was kind of a storytelling kind of way of doing it. And so I really enjoyed it from a creative standpoint, that take on it. And not only that, episode 50 was my original target when we first started out with Change Your POV. I don't know, the shiny object syndrome, like something will come along and I'll like, oh, that's cool, I'll go try this. Oh, that's cool, I'll go try it. And never really followed through with anything. So I wanted to really give podcasting its due, right? Its honest effort. And so I made a commitment at the beginning, even before you and I met and you became the co-host of the show, I made a commitment to myself that I would keep putting out a show every week until I got to 50 episodes. That was my goal. Once a week till I got to 50 episodes. And then once I got to 50, then I would reassess, reevaluate, and see, is this still something that I want to do? Do I want to keep going with it? Do I have, content that I still want to share? That kind of a thing.
Right.
I had no, like I said, when I made the commitment, I had no idea what really I wanted to talk about. I didn't know about you yet. I didn't know, and now, we're well over 130 episodes now. And so obviously we know what decision,
and we're putting out like 3 episodes.
Yeah, 3 episodes a week now. Right. So we scaled it up. So I got to episode 50 and I was like, this is my earmark episode. What should I do? And so I was like, what if I do like a collage? Like I take snippets from all of the previous episodes, up to that point, and I do a collage or a montage or whatever I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like that, right? Yeah. And then overlay it with me telling the story of this journey, kind of like in the way that Serial does it. And so it's my favorite in that if you want to get a glimpse for what Change Your POV is about, and you can just listen to that one episode and you'll basically get a glimpse into 49 previous episodes.
Right.
And I liked it because it took, I don't know, probably 2 weeks of editing, not solid editing. Obviously I'd work on it here and there, but it took about 2 weeks of getting through all the editing, going back to the previous episodes, grabbing clips, and just making it and turning it into a story.
Yeah, which is like time consuming.
Yeah, very time consuming. But had a lot of fun creating it, and it's one that I'm proud of, and I really enjoy it, and that's one that I often send people to. Is episode 50, so that's my number 2.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of mine too. So, my next favorite episode, I gotta laugh now. Episode 110. So big jump there from episode 50 to episode 110.
Yeah.
For me. But that is an episode where Eddie, Andrew McDowell, and
yes.
met in Woodstock, New York, and went to the what's the name of the monastery? The Zen Mountain Monastery.
Yes.
And it's right outside Woodstock. Okay. Now, freaking gorgeous place.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely gorgeous, lovely place. And we were gonna find out how this monastery, this Zen monastery, worked. And we did.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God. But pretty cool. But of course, I found, for me, I got a lot out of it. There was some really funny stuff though that happened. Well, one really funny thing. I mean, we were sitting there kind of out of our element, chanting and ma 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 ma. I mean, it was kind of crazy, and totally outside of our comfort zone for all three of us, really.
Yeah.
But we did it, and it was pretty cool. But there's this one lady, man, who got up and you have to listen to the episode. I can't even go into it other than she was just cawing like a bird, like a crow. And that's why the episode is called Find Your Inner Crow.
Right.
But the rest of it was great. Great people. Not that we talked to a lot of people, but they were, unassuming, welcoming to us, which is cool. Pointed us in the right direction when they needed to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we were just standing there like, yeah, all right. What the fuck is going on here? What are we doing? What are we doing here, folks? So yeah, but great episode. Find Your Inner Crow, episode 110. Yeah,
and
you'll laugh.
One thing that I really liked about that episode is the fact that that the Zen Mountain Monastery has their own podcast.
Yes.
And so I was able to go, and so the session that we attended was recorded, as all of them are. And so we not only did a after action kind of episode where we went and went onto somebody's private property and commandeered their picnic table and plugged in our laptop and did a live recording, which is another something that we've never done before. Did a live recording outside with monkeys in the trees and all kinds of crazy shit happened.
Oh my God.
And we talked about it. But then in post-production, I was able to actually go to the Zen Mountain Monastery podcast and strip out the audio of this woman, actually in her real, when it happened, it was recorded. So I stripped out the audio because we talked about it, and then it cuts over to her, and you can actually listen to what do you call the dude? The main guy? The Buddhist?
The abbot.
The abbot, yeah. So you can hear the abbot ask the question.
It seemed like a really cool dude.
Oh yeah, man.
By the way.
Yeah. And the question that he posed in this, what is it? It was a Dharma encounter is what it was.
Yeah.
So the question that he posed in this Dharma encounter was incredible. And I still find myself to this day reflecting back on that story. And
that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah. And asking myself, what is that? Because it's a very, I don't know, it's very
riddly.
Yes, very riddly. Yeah. So anyway,
is that even a word?
I don't know. I know. I know
but
exactly.
It's kind of like a riddle, but it's really one of those questions in perfect Buddhist fashion.
Yes.
Does it really have an answer?
Right. Yes.
No, it does have an answer, but it's the answer you give it.
Right.
That's what it is. So anyway,
And that was this lady was giving her answer, but it was in the voice of a crow.
I guess
It's so
her answer didn't even make sense. So, but that's the point, I guess.
It made sense to her.
Point. It made sense to her, and the abbot looked at her sideways and went, "Well, you might have to explain yourself a little bit more because we don't all speak crow." And that's not what he said, but that's what that I could see that in his mind. Like the bubble that popped up was, oh my God. She just spoke that in crow.
Yeah. Okay.
So what the hell just happened? And I could see that popping out of his head.
Me too. I think everybody can.
And I almost laughed out loud there.
I did too.
But I had to stifle. I literally like bit the inside of my cheek. And I really wanted, because Andrew was sitting right in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in a chair because my back was already smoked from that. And I felt like kicking him. I was going to kick him and be like, dude, what the fuck? But anyway, I didn't.
Oh God, you just got to listen to that episode. I agree. That was probably one of our crazy top episodes for sure. 110. Find your inner crow. My third one, oh my God, like I said, this was such a tough decision. But my third one has
really, it's a great one.
Well, no, and just in general, just picking top 6 out of 130 episodes is tough, man. You know. But my third and final one for 2016 has to be episode 67. And that is an interview that we had with Mark Horseman. And for those that may not be familiar with who Mark Horseman is, he has a podcast called Manager Tools. And well, he's got 2 podcasts. One's called Manager Tools, and the other one's called Career Tools. And him and his partner, him and his co-host, they're both West Point grads. So they're both Army. And I think at least Mark, I know for sure, was artillery. I don't know Mike Ozan.
I don't remember what Mike. I don't remember him.
Yeah,
he might have been artillery as well.
I think he might have been as well. Know. Yeah, but I know Mark for sure.
You fucking artillery guys.
I know, man.
How do I get stuck with all of you guys?
So
between you and those 2 guys, and then freaking Ryan.
Yeah, well, and Penny might as well be too.
He's a mortarman.
But hey, it's still.
I guess it's like mini artillery.
It's artillery in the Army.
Yeah,
Mortarmans.
I shoot mini artillery too. Just saying.
So I started actually. Manager Tools was one of the very first podcasts I ever listened to, and I used to listen to it during my commute to and from work every day. And he had hundreds and hundreds of episodes. I was kind of.
How many episodes are they at now?
Oh my God! I think they're in their 400s or plus.
Well, they were really like almost like podcasts before it was podcast.
Yes, they were one of the first on the scenes. Absolutely.
Kind of like that dude from Art of Charm.
Yes.
Like
yes, they started
500 episodes.
Yeah. Yes, and they, to be honest with you, these guys, if you were to go into iTunes and search for the top 10 business podcasts, like Manager Tools is going to be amongst the top 5, guarantee it. So These guys get millions of downloads. And just great content. And they break things down. It's very actionable. And it's just because I was flailing. I was flailing as a veteran trying to be successful in the civilian world. And I just didn't have a mentor, anybody to teach me or to show me the ropes. But I needed the simple shit I didn't know. And these guys, they have an episode where they talk about how to shake somebody else's hand. When you meet somebody for the first time, or you meet the interviewer, or you meet your boss or a coworker, or you're at a networking event and you shake what's the proper way to shake hands? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Doesn't everybody know how to shake hands?
Right.
No, folks, not everybody does. Anybody giving you that?
Not like a man, at least.
No, like that wet fish kind of handshake where they just.
Where it's all like.
Yeah, or they just hand you their fingers.
Give you a grip.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah. So they actually talk about how to give, how do you do a proper handshake? They get into, how to write resumes. They get into how to interview, and they get into the manager tools. Like, how do you build an effective team? It's about providing feedback to your directs. It's about building relationships. And they get into not just anecdotal, here's what you should do, but here's how you do it as well. Very, very actionable, very incredible information. And we ended up getting him on the show because it was a result of a challenge that you had put forth to me, Bennett. Mm-hmm. You had told me to write down 10 names of people that you would love to speak to, or to interview or talk to in your life. And it could be anybody as long as they were alive. Because I would love to have a conversation with Abraham Lincoln or Winston Churchill, but obviously that can't happen. So 10 people that were alive that I had, that I would love to speak to. And Mark Horstman bubbled up to be number one of my top 10 people. And you gave me the challenge because you didn't tell me what the challenge was for. You just said, write down 10 names. And that's all I did. And I wrote down the 10 names and then I'm like, okay, I wrote them down. Now what? And you're like, okay, now I want you to reach out and send an email, connect with, the top 5. And I was like, like part of me, I was like, oh man, I don't want to do that. That's scary, right? That's scary. They won't like all these limiting beliefs. Like no one will take me serious. No one will want to talk to me. Like, who am I? Like I wasn't even going to do it because I already told myself no before I even gave my chance. Before I even gave myself a chance to fail, I didn't even give myself a chance to even remotely succeed. You know what I mean? And how many times in life do we do that? We already put ourselves in the fail column before we even give ourselves a chance to even try it.
Yeah.
And so you forced me, you pushed me, let's just say. And that's what we do as friends, as veterans, as confidants, real friends I'm talking about, is they push us to do things, positive things. Obviously there's when you're with a group of guys or you got friends or whatever, they can influence you or push you to do stupid things too. And I've been down that road before.
Yeah.
But this was something you pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and I did it. I reached out and I sent an email to Mark Horstman. I was reluctant. I was like, and I did it almost like I told you so. I did it with an attitude. Like I sent this email, and I was cordial in the email. I was like, hey, I'm a host of Change Your POV podcast. I would love to have you on the show. Da 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 da.
Right.
And then I hit send, but when I hit send, I could just feel my attitude was like, there, now go fuck yourself, Bennett, because nothing's
I just did this shit.
Right?
Yeah. But then you
like,
heard back. I remember the day that he wrote you back.
Yeah.
And you were like shitting your pants.
Yeah.
Just pretty funny. So just to give you guys clarity on all right. So in the overarching business category, okay, which is gigantic. I think there's something like 7,000 podcasts in the just the business category.
Yeah.
This isn't like drilling it down to like, Manager Tools is number 47. Okay.
In the overall,
in the overall business. Now that's ahead of people like Amy Porterfield, Joe Polish, Grant Cardone is, it's not even, it's, what I mean, is below Horstman. Charlene Johnson, Neil Patel. I mean, these are big names in the business podcasting world.
Right.
For sure. I mean, the Motley Fool, which is a pretty Market Foolery, is a pretty big podcast. Anyway, so this guy is up and above these guys. So, I mean, the only people above him are people like, Tim Ferriss and what's the other guy? The Smart Passive Income, Pat Flynn. Guys like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy. And Dave Ramsey, Zig Ziglar. These are the people that are, James Altucher are guys that are above Mark on the gang. And so he's being in the top 50 of any category.
Yeah.
And in iTunes is like, you're doing shit really well.
Right.
Period. So anyway.
So yeah, so aside from just being really big in the space, he was somebody that I spent literally hundreds of hours in my head, in my earbuds, or in the car listening to him. So I like anyone, you spend that much time listening to him, you feel like you get to know them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I could walk up to
Right.
Horseman on the street right now and shake his hand and like know, and I feel like I would know him. Obviously, he would barely know me, but I felt like I know him. And we've had listeners of this show tell that about us, right? That they feel like they know us, because they've listened to. Obviously, we don't have 400 episodes or whatever, but we have enough episodes content out there, and we've shared enough of our personal story where many people out there feel like they've connected with us, and so
Well,
it's
at
the
the end
same
of the
kind of
day, I
thing.
guess there's probably like because not all our episodes are an hour.
Right?
So you're probably rolling in the 80 hours of content.
Yeah, probably close to that. That's enough.
That's 2 weeks.
That's enough to get to know somebody a little bit.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
say so.
that's a couple. That's like a first, a second, a third date, maybe a fourth date, right?
Yeah, but yeah, you're already the third base, man.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, so he reached back to me and says, "Hey, yeah." And at first, when I first got the email back after like a couple of weeks, I totally forgot about it. I literally once I hit send with a vengeance, I just kind of wiped it out of my brain. I forgot all about it, and then all of a sudden I get this random email, and I thought it was one of those automated "Thank you for submitting your email," da 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 da, whatever. But it was like a legit email from him, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'd love to come on your show." And here's the other thing too is some people are known for going on other shows. I don't know of any other show that Mark's been on. I don't. I don't know that he does this at all for anybody. And so for him to agree to come on the show, I was like, I was shitting, like you said, I was shitting myself. Like,
I
what?
mean, like we listen to a lot of podcasts,
Yeah,
and I've never heard him do another podcast.
never. I've never either. Like I said, I'm not
So
saying that he
that's
doesn't,
which
but
is
I don't
yeah,
know
but
that.
that's crazy. So yeah, we feel special, folks.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if
get over it.
you wanna check that out, we prepped for that one for a
Yeah, that
while
was
because
hardcore prep.
we're like what do we ask this guy? Like,
There
you
was no
know?
way I'm missing it, so I was like sitting out in the parking lot at work
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
on like I had my phone as a hotspot. My audio was probably a little garbled, and anyway,
Yeah.
it was kind of a shit show, but we got it done.
So it was good. Episode 67, What Makes an Effective Manager with Mark Horseman. And we got the chance to talk about when this episode went live, he was just launching his new book,
Yes.
The Effective Manager. And again, in that episode 67 show notes page, there will be a link for his book. Incredible book. And again, that's one of the books that I'm reading on Amazon as well. So
See, I actually bought that book. Like I have the physical copy
oh,
of it.
so I'm going to too, but I have it on my. Did I say Amazon?
Kindle.
I meant Kindle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm reading it on Kindle.
Yep. So that's one of those books, folks, that
Yeah, you need a physical copy
you
for
need a
it.
physical copy because it's
Yeah.
kind of like a textbook almost,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, and it's just amazing. I do honestly. I really have a lot of admiration and respect for Mark.
I just really like how they delineate between managers and leaders too.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's really cool. So
So
anyway,
these guys they are executive coaches for some of the Fortune 100 companies, and he lists some of them in our episode. So this guy, like
real deal, man.
real deal, man, no joke. So yeah, that's my number 3. So you've got one more, Bennett.
Yeah, my last one
Yep, go for it.
is the most recent one. It was only 4 episodes ago.
Yeah,
Sometimes we talk about Yardbirds, number 127.
yeah,
It was just a fun episode.
yeah, it was.
And it was one of the times a lot of times we're prepared
Mm-hmm.
for episodes, or we try to be, at least somewhat. We had zero preparation.
Yeah,
Zero. I said that I just don't understand how the hell it got there.
I don't either.
Because we were talking about your chickens,
Right.
and either way, it turned out fantastic. Really funny. So for all those, just to give you a little heads up, a yard bird is a chicken.
Yeah.
And I learned that phrase from an old black man in rural North Carolina. And I've called them yard birds ever since, pretty much. And yeah, man, pretty funny.
Yeah.
So Eddie tells his glorious story of plucking, butchering, and processing chickens that him and his daughter and wife raised. And I actually just ate one of them not that long ago. I meant to take pictures, but didn't work out.
The velociraptor.
One of the velociraptors got turned into chicken noodle soup, and it was fabulous.
Nice.
And I'll do that again with the other velociraptor because I have one left.
Nice.
My family wouldn't even look in the pot though.
No, huh?
Not until I got it, because I actually made stock out of the bird.
Right.
So I took like a mirepoix, put it in a mirepoix. For those who don't know, I'm not going to assume, and I'm not saying you're stupid for not knowing.
Well, I don't know.
It's celery. So it's a fancy way of calling celery, carrots, and onion mixture. It's it's almost the basis of every soup.
Like a staple of the stew.
In the world.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So the French came up with it. They call them mirepoix.
Okay.
Anyway. So put that in there, got that started. Then I put the bird in and then covered it all with water and then cooked it for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So literally then you strain the stock into another pot and then you pull the vegetables out and put those back in the pot. At least I do. Because I don't want them to go to waste, but I actually add more vegetables.
Yeah.
Because those vegetables at that point are like liquid.
Right. Yeah.
So sometimes what I even do is I'll immersion blend that. But anyway, but the bird, they wouldn't even look in there because they're like, is it one of the green ones? And I was like, the greenish blue, aqua. It's as though you took like a gray background and then took like an opaque glaze that's like green and blue,
right,
and painted it on the that's the color of the fucking chicken.
Right.
Now the meat is the same color. I mean, it's like a darker
dark.
It's a darker, but it's it's just like it's like taking like any other organic chicken or like a free range chicken, and taking like the thighs and the legs. Yep. It's that darker kind of color, but even the breasts are that dark. Yeah. So as soon as I stripped away all the skin, everything was fine. But man, they wouldn't even look in the pot. They're like, nope, can't do it. But it was delicious, my friend.
I bet.
Delicious. So
that's cool. All right, so folks, to recap, our 6 top episodes for 2016 in no particular order would be episode 28 and 29. It's a 2-parter. 28 and 29, I'm counting that as 1. And then Bennett's 2-parter, which is episodes 23 and 26, we're counting that as 1. And then episode 50, which was one of mine. And then episode 110, Find Your Inner Crow, was Bennett's. And then my episode 67, what it takes to be an effective manager, with Mark Horseman. And Bennett's 127, Yardbirds. And
sometimes we talk about Yardbirds.
That's right. So there you go. And all the links to those shows will be in the show notes page for this episode, folks. So that's it. And I look forward to 2017 and all the craziness that it will bring to us. I hope you enjoyed this behind the curtain, so to speak, look into our 2016 top 6 episodes of Change Your POV podcast. Had a really great year, and I look forward to everything that 2017 has to offer. Check out all the links over at the show notes page, changeyourpov.com/episode 136. Never miss an episode. Hit subscribe on your podcast player of choice. Make sure you leave us a rating and review. Come be a part of our community over at Change Your POV Squad Facebook group. All right, folks. Until next time.